Data entry pages are where you will enter and read information from your application. All data entry pages have the same structure. At the top of the page you can see the type of record that you're looking at and the name of the record. Immediately below this is the data associated with that record. In this case, this record was inserted at this date and time by this user. We're currently looking at version 4 of the record. We can modify the access control list of the record. We can move, copy or add tags to the record. Data entry pages contain the usual set of controls expected. For example, here we have a text box, here we have radio boxes. Any control that is mandatory is marked with a red asterisk. Larger data entry screens are also broken down into multiple tabs. Data entry fields that accept input are typically surrounded by a dark green border and highlight green. If you are allowed to delete the record you're currently looking at, the delete button will be enabled. The back button takes you back to the previous list without saving any changes. The save button enables you to save any changes you've made to this form and stay on the same page. The save and back button combines both operations. It enables you to save any changes you've made to this page and then go back to the list page. Here is an example of a different data entry screen. In this case I'm looking at a volunteer called Joseph Nichols. As you can see, most of the fields on this form are read-only. Read-only fields are indicated by dashed boundaries and light grey icons. Volunteer records also contain inline list controls. Essentially, an inline list control means that you don't have to go to the list page and then enter a record. In this case, these list controls are in their read-only states. Although most of the fields on this record are read-only, these fields, status and comments, are clearly enterable. Another thing to note is that it is not possible to delete volunteer records. Also note that the move and copy links are not available for volunteer records. If the record is in read-only modes, the save and back buttons will be hidden. When you're using a data entry screen to create a new record, the caption indicates what type of record you're creating. In this case, I'm creating a new concept. The inserted on inserted by links are both blank. If I attempt to save the record validation indicates that this field is required. Validation messages are always associated with the control that is invalid and are displayed in a large red font with a yellow background, so they are hard to miss. If we create a test content and save it, we see the timestamp that the record was saved, who inserted the record, and the version number that we're currently looking at is version 1. We can now modify its access, we can move and copy the record, and we also see the sub-detail lists become available, so I can now add attributes and lists and reports to this record.